We can't go on meeting this way. We will go on meeting this way until these abusive things end. I was in Germany earlier this month, and it was a time when the Stars and Stripes ran the article warning drone operators that they were liable under international law, that you're not supposed to kill people without due process. And that advertisement that appeared in the Stars and Stripes, it was the Air Force Times, it was, yeah. So it finished up with saying that a person, the fact that a person receives an order from a government or from a superior officer to do these kinds of things, it does not relieve that person of responsibility under international law.
Yes.
Nor is there any question about these people who might be flying drones from here, or the ones that already are, whether they have a moral choice. They have a moral choice. And many drone operators have not signed back up, and in fact the Air Force is having great trouble recruiting people because some people don't like to sit behind a computer and say, oh, that fellow looks like a terrorist, and then push a button and then watch what happens to that person. So there's some hope here, but what I'd like to do is emphasize that these people are liable under international law for prosecution. Now people say, well, that'll never happen. Well, think of it this way. 5 years ago, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld was in Paris. This is long after he's left office. And what happened? Well, someone in the Paris polity, a citizen, went to the procurator and said, you have a war criminal in here. I insist that you apprehend and arrest him. Now, what did Rumsfeld do? He didn't do his characteristic He was out the back door of the embassy and entered the airport and onto a plane right away.
Yes.
Okay? Now, how about Bush, George W. Bush? He was supposed to go get an award in Geneva. He was going to give a big speech. And the Center for Constitutional Rights wrote up what they were going to do. They were going to arrest him as soon as he touched ground. What did he do? Well, he made some excuse that he couldn't come. Now, just recently, one of the 30 CIA employees at the station in Rome, one of the ones that have been tried and convicted in absentia, he tried to get through Panama Canal. And they stopped him. They said, oh, you're on the list here. You must be a terrorist or something like that. And of course, force majeure, the Washington intervened and saved him. But let this be a lesson to drone operators. You know, you're not the president, you're not the Secretary of Defense, but if they can do that to them, they can do that to a senior CIA official, they can do it to you too. And fortunes of war change. What I'd like to do is end up with a poem, which is really an anti-poem. It was written by Thomas Merton. It incited in Jim Douglas's book, JFK and the Unspeakable. The way Jim introduces it is he saw this poem in the early 60s in the Catholic Worker. And it talks about a commandant of a Nazi death camp. The title given this poem is, listen to this now, chant to be used in processions around a site with furnaces. I repeat, chant to be used in a procession around a site with furnaces. Now, the chant proceeds, or the commandant's chant proceeds matter-of-factly through his daily routine of genocide to these concluding lines. And these are the lines I would like to hear the Air Force and all the operators of drones listen to. Quote, "Do not think yourselves better because you burn up friends and enemies with long-range missiles without ever seeing what you have done." I'll repeat, do not consider yourselves better that you burn up people, friends and enemies with long-range missiles without ever having to see what you've done. Well, it's up to us, and it's really encouraging to see so many people out here today. It's up to us to make sure that normal Americans who are deprived of this information realize what's going on. And it's not just the poor souls that are dragged into the Air Force and asked to kill people by remote control. We need to point out the cowardice, the counterproductiveness of this action, because everyone knows, who pays any attention at all, that when you kill one drone, if you kill one Afghan or Pakistani or Iraqi with a drone, they in turn have an extended family of some 50 people. And if you want to know why they hate America, it's not our freedom or our democracy, it's what we do. It's killing people by remote control in the most cowardly way I can imagine. Last thing I'll say is there is equal opportunity involved in killing people by drone. In my day, a UAV was an unmanned aerial vehicle. Now, since there are women involved in killing, they've changed the term to unpiloted aerial vehicle. Now, that's hardly anything to brag about. We've corrupted not only the young men of the Air Force, but the young women. This has got to stop, and it's up to us to stop it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ray.